As we start Unit 10, we're going to review how to plot points on a coordinate plane. So the first thing that we need to talk about is how we label or identify the sections of the graph, and we call those quadrants. And here we have quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. And if you're talking about the x and y coordinates, quadrant 1 is going to have a positive x and a positive y. Quadrant 2 is going to have a negative x and a positive y. Quadrant 3 is going to have a negative x and a negative y. And then quadrant 4 is going to have a positive x and a negative y. When you're plotting points on a coordinate plane, the x and y coordinates tell us a couple of different things. So first of all, just by if the x and y are positive and negative, you know which quadrant it's in. Also, the order of those coordinate pair matters. So for example, if we have 3, 5, that tells us our x coordinate is 3 and y is 5. Now first we move horizontal or along this x-axis, and then that second number tells us to move up or down along the y-axis. So for 3, 5, we're going to start here at the origin, and we're moving 3 in a positive direction, which is to the right. 1, 2, 3. And then we're moving 5 in a positive direction along the y-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there in quadrant 1 is point 3, 5. Now this is true for any point in our coordinate plane. So if we had negative 3, 5, we know that would be in quadrant 2 because the x is negative and the y is positive. And we would do the same thing. We always start at the origin, except this time we're moving negative 3 and positive 5. And so here is point negative 3, 5. Now I want you to pause this video and take a minute to think about where or how you could create coordinate pairs using positive and negative 3 and 5 that would go in quadrant 3 and quadrant 4. So pause the video and take a minute to think about that. Since you know that quadrant 3 is negative x, negative y, that would be negative 3, negative 5. And since quadrant 4 is positive x, negative y, that would be 3, negative 5. And now let's plot those points on the number or on the coordinate plane. So again, we start at the origin, we start at 0, and we're moving negative 3, negative 5. And in quadrant 4, we again start at the origin and we're moving 3, negative 5.